Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motor City Uncut, episode 165. Presented by the Major Spets Network. Sports Network Detroit. It's only like I've said that exact phrase like 100 and... Actually, it's only about 110 times because we kept going on the numbers and changed it to, I think, in episode 52, what we called this thing. Because it used to be Detroit Sports Edge. Mm-hmm. So I've only said that, several hundred times. If I think about wrap-ups and intros, and I still butcher it.
That's all right.
We got the full crew here tonight, joined each and every week by Major Sports Network founder Adam Hernandez, and Shawn Bell isn't part-time this week.
I haven't been part-time for over a month now. I've been here for...
Is that what?
Yeah,
I've been here for
four consecutive weeks.
4 consecutive weeks.
We'll have to check the tape on that.
I think it's only 3.
Because I can't hear you guys.
No.
We can hear you loud and clear.
It's probably because of the headphones.
Yeah, you have dumb headphones.
You guys are killing me.
That's the next in studio upgrade is my headphones work just fine, Sean's barely work, and Adam's are held together by electrical tape. So I think we need to get us all some new.
Just go on. I don't care.
That's what happens when you're a part timer.
I know. I get demoted, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to try these ones?
Oh, those old things. Put the camera on him. I want him to see.
Look at these things. I could even talk into this. It's like a
no,
trucker's radio.
No, that doesn't work.
Those were like
for truckers.
That's like
gaming headphones when computers still ran on MS DOS.
Oh my god! How do you put these things in?
Yeah, you got a big head.
I do.
There you go.
That's like calling the kettle black. We all have big heads.
I'm the biggest one out of the 3 of us, and I think I
can't hear you guys at all. Why do I gotta change the plugs?
Yeah, you probably unplugged.
I didn't unplug anything.
All right. Well, Sean figures that out. Yeah. We're gonna get rolling here on March 19th, 2018.
You okay? You all right?
Yeah, I kind of like the title you gave this episode.
Well, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start off with the Tigers, or do you want to start off with...
I mean, all of it's depressing and failing to meet expectations.
Well, come on. I mean, no, not the Tigers. The Tigers are...
just depressing.
The Tigers are just depressing, but I mean, they're meeting expectations, right?
Well, I mean, they can't... I mean, they have expectations, but they haven't even...
I'm talking about Gardenhire's move, though, or the announced move that what he was going to do in terms of
opening day starter.
Yeah, are we starting off with that, or do you want to start off?
Yeah, let's just go Tigers.
Okay.
So much for Ron Gardenhire's new school rebirth. He announced, I believe, yesterday that Jordan Zimmermann is going to start on opening day, and Leonis Martinez is going to hit leadoff.
I like his reasoning though. For did you see the McCoskey article?
I have a habit of not reading anything that gentleman.
Well, I didn't know it was McCoskey until I was.
I was gonna say you're usually better than that. You don't listen to that.
No, I don't. I don't. But it was one of those articles that linked. Oh, hey, Jordan Zimmermann's going to be starting the season, and basically it was Ron Gardenhire saying, "Oh, well, from everything that I've heard here, he's the guy to go with, and he's a veteran guy, and that's why that's why he was brought here, is because he's a veteran guy." And it's like, what do you?
By that logic, Mike Fires should be opening day.
Exactly. What are we going off of here?
You should have brought back Anibal Sanchez just to be here. He's a veteran guy.
No, you go off of A, how they're doing in spring training, and B, how they finished up the season last year. And by all account, Jordan Zimmermann hasn't been good in Detroit.
He hasn't been good in
Detroit, period.
April 2016.
There you go. Okay.
He was good for very, very good for April 2016.
Yes, but that was
hasn't been good since.
But that was it. He's been awful. If I remember correctly, he's given up the most earned runs out of any pitcher in Major League Baseball last season.
I don't know that he would he didn't pitch enough, did he?
I believe he did.
So did the Tigers own that crown for 3 years straight? Because Alfredo Simon had it the year.
And what else was it? Didn't he have an ERA above 6 and a WHIP above 1.5? That's, I don't know. That just screams opening day starter to me. But
well, the funny thing is, what I saw too, that Zimmermann was shocked. He said he came out and he said he was shocked that he was named the starter too. I was reading that, I was just cracking up laughing. I was like, it's pretty bad when your starting pitcher that was announced was shocked that he was going to make it.
Yeah, it's
last year Jordan Zimmermann finished tied for most earned runs allowed.
okay.
He made 29 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, he made 29 starts.
He barely missed a little bit. It was the year before that he missed a lot.
Yeah, he gave up 108 earned runs. He tied with Ubaldo Jimenez for most, and there was a couple guys that are right behind him at 107, 106, 105. But the guys all trailing him and Ubaldo Jimenez did it in more games. Out of qualified starters, Jordan Zimmermann's ERA was
4.92, I'm guessing.
the worst out of anybody that pitched enough to qualify for the ERA.
How bad was it?
It was above 5.
Jordan Zimmermann's ERA?
Yeah.
6.08.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
You say 4?
I said 4.93. I don't know. I was just guessing.
Damn.
That's still pretty damn high.
It is high, but it's not Jordan Zimmermann high.
That's true. That is very true.
I don't know. I mean, what is there any type of justification for something like this? And I know it's only one. I know it's only one game, beginning of the season. I mean, in retrospect, how big of a deal is this actually until you take a step back and look and realize, okay, this is our first real
I just have to
sign as far as how
things are
Gardenhire is going to be managing
and
this
the
season.
insistence that Leonis Martinez is going to hit leadoff is just baffling.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely baffling. The guy's career OBP is 309. He got DFA'd from 2 different clubs last year because he couldn't hit.
Again, that's something that you want to have in your leadoff hitter.
Yeah,
as a guy that can't.
I mean, yes, to Ron Gardenhire's defense, you do not have a logical leadoff hitter on this team.
You don't.
A traditional leadoff hitter, a with speed, can get on base a little bit type guy. The guy isn't on your roster. But so fuck it, we're gonna just go with Leonis Martin. Should not be the attitude.
Well,
I mean,
see what I don't understand is you go with Martin. He's 30 years old. Obviously, he has experience, you could say. But you have a guy like Jacoby Jones that you can just play out there every day. He's 25, needs the reps.
and here's the thing. Jacoby Jones has been on fire this spring.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He's not going to make the damn team because they're so fucking afraid about losing Victor Reyes, the Rule 5 pick, that they're going to try and stash him on the roster and see how he does, despite him being dog shit this spring training.
Right. It just kind of blows my mind. And like you have Jacoby Jones who has some type of power. You've seen it. So let him develop. He's young.
And him and Martin are arguably defensive equals.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or fuck it. Find places for both of them to play.
Right.
That's a good point, Dorf, because it doesn't seem like anybody's locked into any position here. It locked into the point where I need to play this guy
every day
at that position every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by all account, Cabrera should be your DH. Nick Castellano should be playing first base.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I'm concerned,
and the worst part is you can't even say that anymore because Vimart's having a really nice spring. All of a sudden, the opposite field power's back, and he's actually hitting the ball with authority the other way.
Okay, then you know what? Trade him now. Then trade him now.
No one needs him now.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
I don't disagree with you.
Don't sit here and waste a bunch of time throughout the season in trying to keep Vmart around because
if you're in rebuild mode, why try that you get other people at bats?
No, as soon as you start getting offers coming your way regarding Victor Martinez, start fielding them because it's ridiculous to think that you are going to go ahead and go forward with Victor Martinez even though he is starting to rake. He's in the last year of his contract. He is he's over the hill, and he's a one-trick pony. He's not going to be able to give you anything out in the field. Trade him to an American League team who is going to find him useful down the stretch of the season, or however early it is you decide to unload him, and then you got to start doing this the right way. You got to start. I mean. Again, we've had this discussion many times before about Miguel Cabrera and getting the most out of that investment you made into him. If you're going to sit here and fuck around with Victor Martinez all year just because you think he's having a good year, you're not doing yourselves any favors when it comes to the rest of that Miguel Cabrera contract.
Right.
So I don't care where they are right now in terms of Victor Martinez possibly giving them some type of shot in the American League Central, because any thought of that is unrealistic. Right. You just got to, as soon as those offers start rolling in,
you take the first one
right.
you get.
Yes.
Right. And see, right now, as of the thing of it, it's like you look at their starting offense. Who's going to back up Candelario at third base? Nick Castellanos.
No,
there's nobody else. There is nobody else out there. Who else are you going to put at third base?
I think whoever's going to be your utility infielder. By the way, that's going to be another unique discussion.
Yeah.
About who they should keep as a utility infielder. Nico Goodrum, the guy they signed off the waiver wire away from the Minnesota Twins this offseason, hella impressive. Very fluid athlete, currently hitting over 300 here in spring training with a little bit of pop. Has the ability to play everywhere. Could spell you in center field if you needed him to. So I think he's a guy that you're seriously, and Ronnie Rodriguez, also another guy that can play a little bit of everywhere. However, not as I don't think has the upside of Goodrum. I would like to see Goodrum make this team. I would like to see Jacoby Jones, by the way, who's been taking grounders at third base, make this team.
If he can play, put him out there.
No kidding.
Especially, like, for example, if we do get rid of Victor Martinez, Jacoby Jones is going to be a right fielder. If they're going to keep putting Martin out in freaking center field for no apparent reason.
Honestly, Leonis Martin, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in off the cut.
I hope so. May.
Because you know what, Victor Reyes has been awful. The guy they drafted in the Rule 5 draft. You know what? He was a guy that they wanted from Arizona in the J.D. Martinez trade that Arizona wouldn't budge on. So they're like, oh, sweet, we get him for free. Now, guess what? He sucks. Or he's not ready. Either which, now, do you need to work out something with Arizona so you can try and keep him? I wouldn't be against that. It's happened. Hell, they've done it, 3 out of the last 4 years? I mean, Daniel Stumpf was a guy that they Rule 5 picked and didn't keep initially. Work something out with his previous team.
If they work something,
Kyle Lobstein, they did that with.
If they work something out with them, then can you go ahead and put them down in the minors?
Put it back in the minors.
Put them back in the minors. Okay.
Because I'll tell you what, Victor Reyes is young enough and has, still has minor league, options and flexibility that if you offer him back to the Diamondbacks, they're going to take him back. This isn't, a Fourier who's had a nice itty bitty year last year who another organization may not care about. This is a guy that they cared about quite a bit. And they just, they tried to sneak him through the Rule 5 draft and it didn't happen. Hell, you make it past first pick.
One thing, Dorf, and you brought this question up in the rundown here, but why is going with Jordan Zimmermann an old school move?
The veteran, the leader. That's the guy we want to set the tone for the season.
He's not a leader.
He may be the off-field leader, showing the young guys how it's done, but he blows. Know what really sets a shit pace for your season? Getting shit canned for 6 runs in the first 2 innings and getting blown the fuck out in your opener. Put the best fucking guy in the hill. For the love of God, start Michael Fulmer. Fuck, I would not even be, if Michael Fulmer, I know he's missed a start here or two this spring training with elbow soreness.
Yeah, I don't care.
If he's not ready to go, fuck it. Start Matt Boyd.
Start Francisco Liriano.
Sure, yeah, there you go. Who cares?
Right.
Just don't give me the guy that was the worst starting pitcher in baseball last year.
If Dan Norris is up with the team, start Dan Norris.
Not?
Yeah.
Start Dan Norris. Dan Norris is going to be there. Mark my words right now. Dan Norris will be there if this team works them right. Dan Norris will be there. But
and Mike Fiers has been terrible.
Yeah,
he's getting bombed.
No,
he's having issues with his back, and all of a sudden he's a vegan. Guess what? That equals 2 endurance, performance athletes.
Wow.
Injuries. Lack of durability.
If you do it the wrong way.
No. Period.
No. If you do it the wrong way, then yes, it can become an issue.
I'm not going to get into
but you know what?
Vegan-vegetarian debate
no,
with a vegetarian
but that could be with anything though.
Sure.
If you go there and you eat a shit ton of red meat, yeah, it's going to have an ill-adverse effect on your health.
Fair.
Same thing with being a vegan or a vegetarian.
You just got to know how to do it.
Exactly. It's not like you're going out there and chugging beer.
Well, he's not Josh Beckett.
Well,
although he's about as effective as Josh Beckett.
Chicken and video
games and beer days.
I need to know what kind of video games they're playing.
We're going to kind of wrap this up here and move on to the next topic, but we're going to steal something here that Bless You Boys actually posted today. Yeah, we're going to steal something from them. In your mind, how do you define a successful season in 2018 for Ron Gardenhire? You can qualify that with wins, player progression, attitude, entertainment value, however you want. What is a successful season to you in 2018? We're going to start with Shawn.
Oh, God.
You saw it here. You had the chance to prep.
I did.
It's all on you.
To have for
Do you want me to go?
No, I'm going.
Okay, go ahead.
Simmer down. No, basically is keeping Miguel Cabrera healthy and basically keeping him at DH. That's a successful season for me, but I don't see that happening.
Okay, so you're saying you've defined it, and you've also said he's not going to.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a path to success.
Pretty much.
Shawn, you were depressed on this season. All right,
pretty much.
Shawn, or not Shawn. Adam, what's your take?
Well, for me, usually, and this is going to be pretty obvious, but when you're dealing with a bunch of kids, when you're in a rebuilding mode like we are with the Tigers, I want to see some nice, adequate progression with the young players. I want to see, and I talked about him a second ago, I want to see Daniel Norris start to get meaningful innings or innings as a starter. I don't want to see Daniel Norris come out as a bullpen arm. I want to see Daniel Norris.
Well, they've also said immediately right away that if he's going to be in a rotation, whether it's here or Toledo,
okay, and
bullpen spot for Dan Norris is not a choice.
Okay, good. I don't want Daniel Norris to be a bullpen arm. I don't. I want to see some adequate progression with Daniel Norris.
Still is only 24.
I know, and I want to see some adequate progression with the young players. I want to see, just that in general.
Okay, so I'm going to define success for my season.
Hold on, I want to see adequate playing time for the young players.
I think I'm going to cover that here.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
My defined success this season is with your veterans. They're either playing at, their high levels, or they're being cut/dealt.
Which may not be entirely up to Gardenhire.
Which may not be cut. You know what? This is more of an organization goal.
Okay.
With that in mind, I want to see, come hell or high water, not necessarily right away, but the organizational depth, the guys that are close to ready or ready, get some burn in the summer. Now you could come out and blow the doors off them, and all of a sudden you're at the All-Star break. You're in the first in the Central, which isn't going to happen, but it could happen. Then you know what, we can amend that goal, and we got to play the best guys who rate now, because we're fucking in this thing, and that's fine. But if they play the way they should or are expected to, I don't want a guy like Leonis Martin getting at bats in July when you got a couple guys you need to take a look at, whether it be Mike Gerber, Jacoby Jones, or other.
What has Mike Gerber done this?
He already has been optioned out, but was hitting over 300 with power when he got optioned out.
Okay.
Guys like that. I want them to play. You know what? If Jose, if it's time, and you want to give Cody Eves a look, bring him up, play at second base, Dixon Machado's not your shortstop. I want to see Jose Iglesias dealt.
For anything too.
Yeah, anything. Give me a bucket of batting practice balls. Fine. We're done with him. He isn't worth anything because he's a pretty average defensive player. Metrics say so, guys. I don't care what the eye fucking test says. Average defensive player who doesn't hit for any fucking power, doesn't walk, doesn't get on base.
What do you think about seeing, obviously, younger talent like pitching like Matt Manning? Or up here, maybe September or something like that. Maybe AAA.
I don't want Manning above AA the entire year. He's not going to be ready for that. Okay. But you know what?
How about anybody else?
Franklin Perez, Bo Burrows. Alex Faedo should I believe, supposed to start the year at Double-A.
Yeah, the Whitecaps.
Yeah, no, that'd be
Erie. Erie, my bad.
Erie. I think Faedo actually might be in Lakeland. But either way, Perez and Burrows are supposed to start the year Double-A.
I'm pretty sure Manning's supposed to be with the Whitecaps this year.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
If you want to, I want to see
Which is
those,
high A, right?
Low A. Lakeland's high A.
Oh, Lakeland's high A. I got it. So sure.
I want to see those guys get starts down the stretch, even if it's going to go poorly. I want to, toes dipped in the water. Come up for 5 days and then, see ya. This is what it might be like. Hell, even give them an extra couple days to prep for the start. Make it happen. Get creative. I don't want to see guys that are veterans who have no place in your future taking away playing time from guys that you're going to need in a couple years.
But you see though, Dorf. I mean,
that's success. Wins, losses, be damned. I don't care. I want to see those guys get some PT.
But you see, Dorf, this is. I know. You were saying before Gardenhire was hired that it doesn't matter who the next manager is.
Correct.
This is why I had such a big problem with Ron Gardenhire being hired on this team, because he isn't creative. He's a very backwards thinking baseball mind, so stuck in his ways that he's not going to invest the time into getting creative with this roster. By endorsing a move of bringing up Gutierrez and starting
Gutierrez.
I'm sorry.
Franklin Perez?
Franklin Perez, yeah.
Okay.
As I talking about. I was reading about Franklin Gutierrez.
I'm like trying to go.
But this is.
When was the last time the Tigers had a prospect named Gutierrez? Who's he thinking of?
But this is what this is exactly what I mean though by this. Is whether it's Matt Manning or Burrows or Fido or whoever, he's not going to invest the thought into being creative to do these types of things. He's just not, because what we've seen before in Ron Gardenhire, and we mentioned this before the show started, Dorf, that he was a guy who got lambasted in Minnesota because he wouldn't even take the time to take a look at platoons. He just doesn't do it. That's why Ron Gardenhire for this type of team is the wrong choice. It's wrong on so many levels.
Was Ron Gardenhire known for his time in Minnesota as being a great player development manager?
No.
Getting more out of guys than they're capable of.
You can make that argument, I think.
Okay. Is that what they're hoping to tap into here, to develop the roster in order to then hand it off to the next guy? Like I said, it doesn't really matter who manages the next 3 years. They're going to blow anyway. Is his job just to develop the core and get him ready for the next guy to take over?
I don't think so.
I think having somebody in like that makes it harder for these players that they want to look at our future, because they see this manager who hasn't had the success that they bring in really truly on developing players or whatever, if you want to say argument, whatever. But I think that's harder on these players who they're trying to develop, because they see that and then he's gone. You're on a shitty team and then he's gone, you're starting all over again with a new manager.
I think with a lot of these players though, you're hoping that they do a lot of their developing in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're hoping you do. Where a lot of this is performed at.
Who's the Mudhens manager right now?
Shit.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I think he got promoted out of the high A last year. What the hell is it? Because it's new. Because it wasn't a Larry Parrish before, and he didn't get brought back. Or he went down to.
No, it was Legendary Lloyd last year.
No, it wasn't. He was hitting coach last year. I think 2 years ago.
Oh, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, you're thinking 2 years ago.
Oh. I don't know. I can't remember.
Just go to the Mudhens.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go.
Minor league baseball page.
That's where
it'll be right there on top of the roster.
It's not important.
Anyway, I don't know where were we going with that, but
I don't know. I want a forward-thinking mind. I want a forward-thinking mind with this lineup who's willing to to get creative
quite honestly,
and try these different situations with these guys to take a look and see what the best possible situations could be with those younger players.
And I have something that's going to be very unpopular right here.
Go ahead.
Now would have been the perfect time to hire Brad Ausmus the first time.
Probably.
The supposedly analytical new baseball theory mind. No experience. Now is the time to hire him when he can be creative and have no expectations.
You know what though? True to form, because that seemed like what Brad Ausmus was going to be, and he wasn't.
Was he not allowed to? Was he not given the roster? Was it given the ability to do that? I mean, we can do that post-mortem another day.
That's a fair question to ask. But you have guys out there who are absolutely known for something like that. They wouldn't hire to Gabe Kapler.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Gabe.
Philly's got him.
Yeah, that's what Gabe Kapler is known for, though. He is known for being that straight analytical guy.
We'll see how it works out with him in Philly. Philly's made those, very much in the same pattern that you saw with Houston. They made those, now that they're close to ready, they've made those prime free agent expenditures on the guy like Chick Arrieta.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example. Carlos Santana being the other.
Yep.
They're ready. They're going to be very, very dangerous.
They still have Ryan Howard.
No. Actually, Ryan Howard was in the minor leagues of the Braves last year a little bit. He spent a little bit of time at AAA Gwinnett.
Should we move on?
Yes. Next. Do you want to introduce this next one for me? Since I'm the kind of the subject of it?
Sure.
All right.
Well, as we know, yesterday, Michigan State Spartans fell to the last team in, Syracuse Orange. What was the final on that one? Was it
55-53?
55-53, which was essentially a home game for Michigan State, playing at the Little Caesars Arena. And this would be the third year in a row that Michigan State didn't make it past the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. And I think at this point right now...
Doug Minkiewicz is the...
Yeah, I was going to say...
Oh, yeah, Doug Minkiewicz.
The Buttheads man.
Yeah, I remember him. And I know Dorf had an unpopular opinion and an unpopular take a second ago with saying that, maybe this would have been the time to hire a Brad Ausmus type for the Detroit Tigers. I think another perhaps unpopular opinion is taking a look at Tom Izzo and his time and place right now in the current with Michigan State basketball. Because when you take a step back, and Dorf is going to take over here in a second and kind of and talk about a really, really good article that he wrote last night in reaction to Michigan State's latest NCAA tournament early ouster. Whether or not things have kind of passed Michigan State basketball and Tom Izzo by. And I think it's a very legitimate argument right now. It's a very legitimate take right now. And it's something that you have to look past. It's something that you have to, open your mind to and realize that what Tom Izzo has done for Michigan State, is it all of a sudden not good enough?
He's the one that's created the expectation of Final Four bust every year.
Dorf, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
And now this is 3 disappointments in a row. These weren't cute, classic, dirt, an endearing term, dirtbag Tom Izzo teams. They were scrappy and just beat the shit out of you. And they were cute and they weren't expected to make a run, and they did.
Can I make one more?
Sure.
A couple of things to preface all of this on, and I mentioned 2 of them before. Home game for Michigan State in the NCAA tournament, which is
not usually.
Yeah, you don't usually have this happen. Last team in, the Syracuse team wasn't those Syracuse teams of the past that, oh man, got to play Syracuse to the next round. Look out for that.
They don't have Carmelo Anthony on the team.
No.
Right.
And 3, this was supposed to be one of those Michigan State rosters that was up and down, extremely dangerous. Go ahead, Dorf. And he lost to Syracuse. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Fuck, where was I going? I totally lost my train of thought here. This isn't new. My criticisms of Tom Izzo that I kind of displayed here and wrote out are not new. I'm going to pull a Jim Caldwell here. Check the report. This is stuff I have been complaining about for the better part of 3 years. This is the most talented roster you have ever had in East Lansing. Don't give me that crap about 2000 in the Flintstones. This team has more talent.
2 lottery picks. Potentially.
We can discuss Miles Bridges' rapidly falling stock, but, 2 highly thought of, 2 future pros. No doubt future pros. Mm-hmm. On the floor at the same time. This is 2 out of the last 3 seasons. You have legitimate and not pie in the sky expectations and ability to win a national championship. Neither time you made it out of the first weekend. Nothing is changing either. This is unstoppable force meets a movable object. Neuroplasticity is a bitch. Tom Izzo has showed now time and time again the inability to adapt to the modern game. Whether it's how he handles his players in game, his out of the fucking wacko basket rotation strategy. Everybody and their brother shortens their fucking rotation when the games are tough. Why the hell are you playing 11 guys in your most important game of the season? Now, you go up 20 early on Syracuse. You want to get deeper into the rotation to keep a guy like Miles Bridges from having to play 35 minutes, or Cassius Winston or yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. Fine,
it's justifiable.
Justifiable. You're up 20. You're in a fucking dogfight, and you're going to play your arguably third center and a guy, Ben Carter, who down the stretch this season was DNP coach's decision more than 20 minutes each.
Dorf, I could vouch for you too, because you're making the same argument. I believe, was it last year or the year prior?
Both.
Like in December, mm-hmm. Yeah, in December.
Yeah, I'm talking in December, coming off victories. Hey, and as I wrote in the piece, your rotation plan. Yes, it is great for the regular season. It keeps you fresh, keeps you healthy. They've had an unprecedented run, essentially, of great health at Michigan State. Guys don't go down for season-ending. They just don't. Guys that matter. Kyle Arms, bless his heart. They don't go down for the season. Because you know what? They're, all things considered, healthy. And you get that by not riding the same 7 guys like Syracuse has into the ground. That's a great strategy. However, while you're dicking around playing Tum Tum Naren in the first 5 minutes, where your opponent knows they don't have any fucking reason to guard him, and you're playing 4-on-5, you're squandering chances to get out to big leads. You're squandering chances to have the other team start pressing early, to start, gambling. And then you squander the ability to step on their throat. We need to get in our rotation. Got to get in there early. For heaven's sakes, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be, at worst, the 5th pick in the draft this year. At worst. How the hell do you only play him 15 minutes? Yes, foul trouble. You got 2 fouls early in the second half. He finished the game with 3. Played 6 minutes in the second half. Why the fuck is he not in there? And this isn't just now. This is all fucking season. Just the rotation. And yeah, they're young, raw guys. They're hella talented. They will make mental mistakes. This isn't, your team is not 22-year-old seniors. The guys that play are not 22-year-old seniors who are this talented. They're 19 years old.
This also is
the different type of prospect is produced now.
This also isn't a 3-game series that we have in the NCAA tournament.
It's do or die right now.
Yeah.
You can't afford to seed inferior talented teams points early in games. Let's get into the bench. At one point, you had Matt McQuaid, can knock down an open three, can't create his own shot. Tum Narin, know how he is. Kenny Goins and Xavier Tillman all on the floor at the same time. None of those guys can create their own shot.
Which is why they went for like 8 for 30 or something from...
They made 6 field goals in the second half.
Did they miss 16 consecutive shots?
13 in a row to close the game.
Yeah.
Because you left... You know what? Nick Ward was 4 or 5 on the game. He had, I think, 3 dunks. You know what? Syracuse's entire front line had 4 fouls with 12 minutes to go. Nick Ward didn't see the court. You could have fouled all 3 of those guys out in the span of 3 possessions. If you did it right and you went for the fucking throat. What are you doing? But this is just, this constant themes over and over every year. It used to be the phrase, January, February, Izzo, April. You can't say that anymore. He chokes in March by refusing to adapt to the situation. He's, what now, 1-11 against Coach K? Was about to be 1-12 had they made it past Syracuse. 1-7 against Jim Boeheim. Forgetting who's the other one. Who else am I forgetting that he's got a dog shit record against?
Roy Williams.
1-6.
Yeah.
Come on. Can't win the big game. Got lucky early in his career. And
this is the thing though. And
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Back when Tom Izzo won his championship, team, a complete team, a complete, bottom to top roster, that's what won championships at the college level. It doesn't anymore. NBA talent wins championships. Oh, see the last decade with Kentucky, Kansas, and North Carolina and Duke. Well, what do they all have? Bonafide day one NBA starters leading their team.
I was going to say, Dorf, and you mentioned that in your article that
you have 2 of those guys on campus at once, and you don't use either of them.
But usually, and I was going to say though, is usually that doesn't going forward. That usually doesn't attract, and you mentioned it. That doesn't attract the one and dones because they're not going to want to go to a team.
No, why would you want to go? Hey, your biggest chance to showcase yourself in your final college game before you go to the NBA draft, your last game tape. Yeah, you got 2 kind of ticky-tack fouls early. What does your coach do? He doesn't fucking play you. Mm-hmm. If I'm the guardian, player interest person, parent, or whatever of a high-end college prospect, future NBA one and done, I don't take Tom Izzo's call. He has ruined Miles Bridges, and he's wasted Jaren Jackson Jr. And Gary Harris, bless his heart, got great, his head taken off in the NBA. He didn't get better under Tom Izzo. The same player that he came in was when he left in 2 years. Draymond Green, Denzel Valentine, guys that probably benefited from the Tom Izzo corkscrew. Those guys' careers have kind of taken off. But they didn't really get a hell of a lot better under Tom Izzo. Deonte Davis. Same thing happened to, by the way, 2015. Jaren Jackson Jr., how he was handled in his final game. Deonte Davis, same fucking thing. Same thing. Future NBA player doesn't see the fucking floor in the second half. He was a one-and-done player. What the hell? The game has changed, Tom. Wise up. Bring in some fresh eyes. Fresh blood. I'm not on your assistance. When was the last time you made a move there? Couldn't tell you. It's been for fucking ever. You've had the same, 3 guys, Dane Fife, Dwayne Stevens, and I'm forgetting the other guy. Same freaking crew of 4. Doing the same damn thing. You've run the same fucking offense for a decade. The last time you had any innovation in your offense was when it was a one-man show of Drew Neitzel and everybody else. He was the only guy who could make a damn shot for you. That was the last time he did anything different. Teams don't need a game plan for you. They don't need to watch tape. They don't need to stress. They don't need to prepare. You just dust off the last game plan. Oh, it's the same thing. Here you go.
Their best player is going to get limited minutes, and then they're going to empty the bench.
They're going to go deep. We're going to see a lot of guys, and they're going to run the same damn curl and down screen bullshit that they've run forever. Yeah, it's effective. It's an effective set. But that's all you do. And not to mention, this isn't even getting into zone defenses. I understand the Big Ten Conference does not play zone defenses as a whole. They don't. And you can only schedule so many teams that play effective zone defenses. For fuck's sake, practice it. Don't look like, oh my God, we're a travel team that's never played against a zone defense. We're showing up to some weekend tournament. What do we do? That's what it looked like. You played right into. It's like, oh, your understanding of how to beat a 2-3 zone came from NBA 2K. Your idea of let's just pass it around the perimeter and oh shit, there's only 7 seconds left on the shot clock, gotta force something up. That's exactly what Jim Boeheim wants. Because you didn't have an effective trigger man in the middle. Because you played Ben fucking Carter more than half the game. Ben Carter played like 6 minutes a game when he played. Down the stretch, he didn't play at all. So you roll him out there for 23 fucking minutes.
In the biggest game of the year.
And the only one that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, it's win or go home.
I was going to say, Dorf, at this point right now, who gives a shit about Big Ten titles?
Well, yeah, you've only won one of those in the last 6 years.
Yeah. But, in essence, who cares about them? A team like this, it's all about what you do at the NCAA tournament. That's what matters. And I asked this question. I at this point right now, for anybody out there who is seriously, questioning why the Red Wings still have Ken Holland.
Very good point here, by the way.
Questioning why the Tigers spend as much time with Dave Dombrowski at the helm as they did. Shouldn't you be asking the same questions?
Well, why is Stan Van Gundy still employed?
Why should you be taking some serious looks at Tom Izzo as this team's head coach? Dorf, you mentioned it. You mentioned Tom Izzo having to adapt.
The game has changed, man.
To modern college basketball. I'm gonna ask you, Dorf,
are different.
Maybe
the way the game's officiated is different. What does he change?
Maybe he can't change, Dorf. Maybe he's
neuroplasticity is a fucking bitch, isn't it?
Maybe he's incapable of changing. Because if he was capable of changing, don't you think it would have happened by now? You'd
hope so.
This is year 3 that they've been knocked out before the opening weekend was concluded. We are on the better.
And if you look even 5 years back when they lost to UConn in the regional semifinal, that UConn team who barely scraped in.
Mm-hmm.
No excuse there. That was Shabazz Napier and a bunch of clowns.
And we are in the better half of 2 decades that they haven't won a national championship.
18 years ago.
Yep.
Has it been that long already?
2000 was the last one.
When during that time span, you've had guys like Coach K win 3. You've had I think Roy Williams has won 3, I believe.
Do you want me to look?
Yeah, you can look it up real quick. And Tom Izzo was supposed to be in that same class. He's supposed to be up there with those types of head coaches. And he hasn't been able to get it done. Yet, Tom Izzo marches around East Lansing in this state as a guy who's untouchable.
You've got Jim Calhoun, now retired, has 2. Kevin Ollie, who just got fired, has 1. Jay Wright's got 1. Billy Donovan's got a couple. Jim Boeheim's got a couple. Oh, sorry, 1. He's got 1. Rick Pitino's got 1. Roy Williams has got 1, 2, 3. Krzyzewski 1, 2, 3. Bill Self has even got 1.
So?
Bill Self's a boob.
Yeah. And we're talking 18 years. 18 years you couldn't muster up another national championship here. With the type of talent that you supposedly bring in, you couldn't muster up another national championship. And this is what it all boils down to. I equate this very, very much like I equate Dave Dombrowski's time with the Detroit Tigers. You couldn't muster up one in that sense. With the amount of talent
you got
that
there twice and you got your pants blown off both times.
You're able to bring that talent here and do nothing. Well, a lot of that kind of relates to what Tom Izzo hasn't been able to do with the talent he has been able to recruit. And I think Michigan State fans need to take a real long, hard look at whether or not Tom Izzo is the right coach for this team going forward. Because if it hasn't changed by now, if it hasn't changed in year 18, if it hasn't changed in year 3 of getting knocked out in the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament, then when is it ever going to change? Have we already seen the best from Tom Izzo? I know that's hard for everybody because it's Tom Izzo.
Your Lord and Savior, Tom Izzo.
But is that all of a sudden good for big bad Michigan State basketball of flaming out in the NCAA tournament? Making some headway during the regular season, beating up on some teams during the Big Ten season, and then all of a sudden, that's it. That's all that's being offered. I'm sorry, if I'm a Michigan State fan, that's not good enough for me. Not anymore. That may be good enough for Michigan. Shouldn't be good for Michigan State, supposedly. And it's funny too because it seems like the roles have been reversed when it comes to Michigan football, Michigan State football, Michigan basketball, Michigan State basketball. Because on the other end of the thing, it's Michigan football that's supposed to be the big bad, tough team here that's supposed to, we're not all about just winning the Big Ten. We want to do something in the postseason too. I don't know. It amazes me to see some of the response that this is good enough, and it shouldn't be. Dorf has every right to be upset. Mm-hmm. Dorf has every right to be questioning whether or not Tom Izzo is the right guy to continue running this team. And I agree. I think Michigan State needs to take a good, long, hard look at Tom Izzo's future here. Because all of a sudden, you know what's going to happen if they don't? And who knows, maybe it's already happened because it has been 18 fucking years. They're going to get to the position like we've seen so many times before, where college coaches become bigger than the teams themselves, and they can dictate when they get to leave. They get to dictate every single aspect with that team. And that's it. What they say goes. It's either their way or the highway. And that may be fine if you're winning, but the last time I checked, Michigan State hasn't been winning. Not something that's not winning in a way that's going to be justifying Tom Izzo staying around and being some
continuing to pilot this team aimlessly into the ground.
Yeah, and be some untouchable God in East Lansing that you can't question, you can't.
And on top of that, I have a lot of issue with this post-game press availability. Playing the victim and the martyr card. Come on. That shows, you know what, you're supposed to be the god. That bullshit with ESPN trying to impugn your character, that shouldn't get to you. You're supposed to be better than that. It shouldn't affect you. But it obviously did.
I guess. It may have...
Is this like the scene from 300 where... I may be butchering this because I haven't seen it in a long time, where Leonidas cuts Xerxes and all of a sudden God bleeds?
Oh,
is that what you're seeing right here?
When he threw the spear at him?
Yeah.
And took off some of his piercings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicks his face. The God King bleeds, and all of a sudden that weakens his stance as Supreme Emperor of the Persian Empire.
It's hard to tell, Dorf, because this is the same. I mean, this is what was happening to Tom Izzo's teams the previous 2 years when they weren't dealing with.
You know what? Last year, I can get it. You were playing for
Kansas.
Yeah, you played Kansas. You had 4 freshmen, and they were grown ass men on that team. I get it. Last year's drubbing was something I could accept. 2016, 2018. What?
Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, 2016 to 2018, unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Yeah, Middle Tennessee State, played the game of their fucking life. You're supposed to be better than that.
Still shouldn't have been good enough.
No.
They should have played the game of their life, and you still win by 15 points.
Yeah, that was the talent differential. That's what should have happened.
Just like this game, though, too. This Syracuse team, last team in, who there was plenty of debate on whether or not they even deserved to be in.
They didn't. That's the thing. They didn't.
Their best game,
but they're here.
Their best game, Michigan State still should have won by 15.
Weekend.
Yep.
They played 3 games in 5 days and won them all.
Yep. Their best game, you still should have won by 15 points. Maybe more.
It's embarrassing. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. I think we're going to skip the last topic. We can Lions off season's not over. Plenty of time left. We'll get to that next week. So, all right. One little we forgot to Michigan advancing to Sweet 16. They take on Texas A&M on Friday, correct?
Either Thursday or Friday.
This weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah.
I know it's I know it's this weekend. I can't remember. If
Texas A&M Sweet 16. I know. What a shot! Nice job, Jordan Poole. And also, kind of City of Detroit news.
I'm sorry, it was a desperation shot too.
It was wonderful though.
It was a wonderful shot.
He also probably got fouled on the play.
I know people were sitting there saying, "Oh, well, they practice that play all the time."
They might. I mean, that may be the basketball equivalent of their Hail Mary. That might be.
But it's desperation.
Oh yeah,
that's a desperation play.
That's a shot. Even under ideal circumstances, you make less than even with a little bit more time, you make less than 15% of the time. I'm sure.
Same thing with Michigan though. Michigan needs to play better.
Oh yeah, played like shit in both games and you still won.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, but you're alive. Survive in advance. And that's what March is.
And you know what? The road is cleared out of the way for them.
Oh yeah, should beat A&M.
Yeah, you don't have to. Really no North Carolina. Don't have to deal with North Carolina anymore.
Xavier's gone too.
Yep, Xavier's gone.
Bracket.
North Carolina's gone.
You get the winner of what? Gonzaga, who's and Florida State, who's also. If you win, just gotta beat A&M.
Both of those teams they can beat too. They can beat any of these teams right now going through. Who's number 1 up top?
Virginia.
Well, I mean, who's the new number?
Who's the top remaining?
Yeah,
Kentucky. You beat Kentucky.
You beat Kentucky too. This Kentucky team, yes, they can beat.
No excuse, man. National champion or bust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're the top seeded. Kentucky's a 5, I believe.
Top remaining in that
side of the bracket.
That South Division.
I mean, the others. I mean, once you get to the
national title game, they'll be an underdog.
I mean, that's a different story because I fully expect either Duke or Villanova to make it. In fact, Duke and Villanova are probably going to be playing in that side of the bracket. That side of the bracket, Final Four, yeah. Which I'm going to go with whoever wins that side of the bracket's Final Four is going to be the champion.
Final Four will come out of that side of the bracket. Last thing, City of Detroit news that I kind of alluded to. Ford is apparently in preliminary talks about buying the train station in downtown Detroit. That eyesore in Corktown might get some new life breathed into it by the Ford Motor Company.
So, that's cool.
Apparently talks are very preliminary because it's owned by Matty Maroon and that mob family. And apparently, you're saying that Matty Maroon's son came out. Whoa, hold on, hold the phone. We're just chatting.
Yeah, we're just chatting. Nothing substantial coming out of these conversations. And we did have somebody. We were talking to somebody, but it wasn't Ford.
So they employed a proxy company, whatever. Right. Anything else?
I mean, it's. If you're the Maroons, you've sold this.
I'll just fucking if somebody gives you 50
piece of garbage,
a $50 gift certificate to Bennigan's, you fucking take it.
Well, I don't know if I'd be Bennigan's because Bennigan's aren't around anymore. But
okay, whatever. You get my point.
Let me take a Sonic or
hell, I'll buy you dinner at the Whitney.
Or maybe Chili's. What else? Shawn?
All you can eat at the Whitney.
Chili's.
Screw it. Let's go get some barbecue. Let's go to Slows.
Mr.
I will take you to dinner. I will take that off your hands. Anyway,
where's your restaurant? If you were offered,
if you had to give up your train station for a dinner, where would dinner be?
What restaurant?
And it had to be in Detroit.
Yeah. Or Metro Detroit, wherever. Ann Arbor.
I would probably go with Bucharest.
Bucharest? You like yourself some Bucharest that much?
I some shawarmas, man. Oh my god!
I had shawarma for lunch today. Not from there, but I had very good shawarma for lunch today. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this 165th episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by the Major Sports. Come on, get the music rolling. Presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. Join us each and every Monday nights right here at 7 p.m. Eastern. Live on the various streaming platforms that you're catching us, or on the replay, primarily at YouTube, SoundCloud, Mixlr, and also replay on Periscope too. So, all right, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see you all next week, everybody.